Hey, what's up, my friends? JT DeBold is with you today for the Elite Marketing Pro Daily Dose of Awesome, your 15 minutes of inspiration, education, and motivation to help you get your day started off right. And before we get today started off right, let me just jump right out and say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever time it is for you, no matter where you might be tuning in from on the Big Blue Marble. Thanks for joining us here each and every single Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And as you're jumping out here, let me know where you are tuning in from on the Big Blue Marble so I can give you a shout out, so I can welcome you here and say hello. Great to be back out with you. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of December, a couple days after Christmas, a couple more days left in 2017. We're going to be talking about how you can crush it in 2018, especially in attraction marketing. So as you're jumping out, let me know what's going on. Hey, what's up, Lindsay? Good to see you, my friend. Ed Wall, good to see you. Rosemary Fritz, awesome. Krista Baker, what's happening, Krista? Can't wait to catch up with you later today. Danielle's with us. Sally Crow's in the house. Awesome to be with you. Lindsay, great to see you in Texas. Hopefully you and the fam had an awesome Christmas. Jennifer Stover King, what's happening? Stacy May in the house. Michigan winter, hang in there. I just heard that Michigan got pounded pretty good with the snow. We actually got snow here in the Pacific Northwest, which was awesome. We had a white Christmas, still a little bit of the white stuff on the ground, which is awesome. Gotta love it. All right, so many cool people coming out. Larry, what's up in Colorado? I'm a CU buff, so it's awesome to see Larry Felder coming in from Colorado. Nancy King, what's up? Randall Meek coming in from Missouri. Chilly out there. Angel William from North Carolina. It's been a while since I've been in the Carolinas, but good to see you. Okay, so let's talk about this. There's really, if you're going to approach your business here at EMP or any kind of business that uses attraction marketing, there's a few things you need to know to really help you maximize your efforts. There's 4 questions that you're going to want to be able to answer. And as we go through these 4 questions, I want you to think about how these answers are applicable to you, how these particular answers are yours, because literally it's one question with 4 variations. And this is the question, all right? So the question is, blank are you? All right, now there's 4 variations of this. There's who, there's how, there's where, and there's what. And if you think about those 4 variations of this central question, this is the core, this is the center, this is the nuclear power plant, if you will, for your attraction marketing funnel. All right, so anything you do, whether it's coming out here and doing a Facebook Live, whether it's doing a blog post, whether it's doing a podcast, whether it's writing an article, whether it's just meeting somebody in person, if you are a fan, or more importantly, if you're a practitioner of attraction marketing, these are the 4 central questions you must have clear in your mind. And I want you to really think about this week as we head into the last few days. Really, if you think about it, just a few hours left in 2017. These are the questions that you're going to want to get clear on when it comes to your marketing message. All right, so let's talk about who are you? This is a question that's on the back of every single person's mind when they start to talk to you. They want to know who you are. And it's not just about your name, so to speak, but it's your whole story. It's your whole history. And this is the part that actually differentiates you from everyone else. Okay, so the who part of this is extremely important. And it's surprising, but this is the part that I find most people struggle with. For whatever reason, they think, oh, I don't have the experience, I don't have the background, I don't have the results yet in order to get there. And so they kind of hold back from the who. Now, if this resonates with you at all, if you've ever felt that sense that, man, I don't want to share my story, or perhaps I don't have a story to tell, I don't even know who the who is behind me, show me a 1 in the chat box. Adina Brooks Revitalu. Man, I hope I'm saying your name right, because she said Seahawks 12. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Big game coming up this week. We're still alive in the playoffs, or in the hunt for the playoffs. So right on, Adina. Good for you to notice that. Larry Felder, Jennifer Woodfield, a lot of people saying 1. Okay, this is key and essential, all right, folks, because I want you to pay close attention to what we're talking about here. The idea behind you, it's you incorporated, all right? You are the center point of your business. And it's important because I think a lot of times people, when they hear that, they think, oh man, I don't want to be self-centered. I don't want to make it about me. I want to make it about them. And I totally understand that. And I think that's the best place to have your energetic focus. However, you have to remember that no matter what your product is, no matter what your service is, no matter what your brand, no matter what company, if you're in a network marketing company, for instance, and you're marketing that particular company, or if you have your own products and services, maybe you are a coach, maybe you're an accountant, maybe you are a dentist, maybe you run a mom and pop shop, doesn't really matter. People are coming to work with you. Okay, they're not coming to work with your brand or your service. Even Coca-Cola, even those big brands, they have to be thinking more about who they are personally as human beings, because that's what people really buy. Okay, and especially in this market, especially this thing that we call attraction marketing, it's key and essential that you lead with you. Now, does this mean that you have to self-aggrandize? Does this mean you have to stand on top of a box and talk about how great you are and pound your chest? That's not necessarily what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is that you have to be willing to share yourself. You have to see your own true value. You have to have a sense that, listen, I've got something to give. I've got something to share. I've got something worthwhile to provide to the world. And when you approach it from that place, then you are leading from a place of authenticity. And that's what people actually buy. All right. So you can look around and see all these slick marketing messages. You see all the gurus out there showing off their fancy cars and their big houses and all that crap. And that's fine. There are people that love that stuff, and I'm sure that they're great people. But the people that you want to work with are the people that are going to fall in love with you. And oh, by the way, a lot of times people fall in love with those personalities, those big time gurus, because they led with themselves or the message and the image that they want to project. The point here is that you have your own unique message. You have your own unique identity. Who you are is what people really want to buy. All right. So that very first question, who are you, is a question that you have to get clear on. This is so key and essential. You must spend time on this, my friend. You got to get clear on who you are at your core, all right? And you've heard me say this many times. I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. Your values, your vision, your mission, and your purpose in life, those are kind of the key essential pieces that you want to start getting clear on. And that will define who you are as a person. Not, I'm the CEO of my company, which we'll get to in a second. Who you are is at the core, all right? Your values, your character, what turns you on, what fires you up, what gets you going in the morning, what pisses you off. By the way, those are things, by the way, that people want to hear, because that differentiates you. I'll be completely transparent. I come out and tell people that I think goal setting sucks. I talk about the fallacy of the law of attraction and vision boards and all these things. And I realize that probably puts some people off. But guess what? It's where I truly stand. It's who I am at my core. And I believe that there's a better way to help people get results. And so that's who I am at my core. I'm somebody who passionately cares about helping people. And so I lead with the best stuff I know to lead with. That's what I want you to get clear on. Your values, your vision, your mission, and your purpose are the four cornerstones of who you really are as a person. And that's going to help you define that first question. Now, the next question you might hear is, how are you? All right, so you got who are you, and then how are you? A lot of times these people ask the question, hey, how are you? And that's typically, it's a good question to ask, because what we're really getting to the sense of is not just how you feel, but how you think, how you interact with the world. Now, you do not have to necessarily be outward and literal with this question, but this is more of a personal sort of check-in with yourself. Each and every single morning and each and every single afternoon, you want to say, hey, how am I doing today? What's going on inside my head? Am I operating at a place that is in congruence with who I am, right? Who I am. Am I a happy person on the outside? Or am I kind of hiding it on the inside? Am I somebody who's driven? Am I somebody who has, I'm appealing to the sensation that I want to be known for, right? In other words, if you're a high energy person, are you playing low energy? If you're a lower energy person, are you overdoing it? Are you pushing yourself too hard to try to convince people that you're happy, that you're excited? It's important to know how you are doing. How are you right here, right now? Do those personal check-ins. I do these throughout the entire day. And I ask myself that question, honestly, how are you doing? And the whole point is not how do I feel necessarily, or how are my emotions toward a certain situation, although it's important to ask those questions, right? Because you want to make sure that if you're having a bad day, or perhaps something happened that didn't go your way, maybe you got rejected, maybe the sale didn't go through, maybe the ad didn't work out the way you want, you might want to ask yourself, hey, how you doing, right? Think about this. Have you ever had a person that really meant a lot to you? Somebody who you looked up to? Maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a grandparent, maybe it was a friend, a neighbor, and they were just that person that seemed to always be there for you, right? If you've ever had one of those people that were just like your go-to person, man, it could be your soulmate, could be your spouse, could be somebody that you love dearly, but somebody who's there for you, right? Not necessarily somebody you're always there for, like your kids, but I'm saying somebody who really lifts you up. And maybe it is your kids, by the way. That's fine too. If you have one of those people or you have several of those people, give me a 2 in the chat box. Let me know, yeah, man, I've got that person or those people that just seem to lift me up, or they're kind of there right when I need them, even though I haven't asked for it. You know what I'm talking about? One of those really special people. I know I certainly have those people in my life. I'm certain you do too. And if you do, give me a 2 in the chat box. I want to see what's going on here. Okay, lots of 2s coming in. That's awesome. Now, here's the key to this. Those people often say, hey, how's it going? How are you, right? And they really do want to know, how are you doing? And oftentimes it's not because they want to keep you stuck in that place of, you know, you're feeling like crap or you're feeling bad, or they want to know how you're doing because if you're feeling awesome, they want some of that energy, right? That's a question that a person who truly cares about you asks. So the question I would ask is, are you asking that question of yourself? Are you showing yourself the same compassion, the same concern, the same caring that a person that you love and look up to would share toward yourself, or that you would share towards somebody that you love and support? That's the question I want you to really think about and consider for yourself, all right? So consider yourself, how are you doing? This is important because it's going to help you write some great ad copy, especially, listen, if you're emailing your list like you should be, this is a great place to be. If you had something amazing happen to you over the holidays, or maybe you had something frustrating happen to you, something funny, something crazy, the question is, how are you doing, is a very important question, because that will be the spark that you need oftentimes for attraction marketing. That's a great way to share the true, authentic person you are, okay? Not the image that we want to project to everybody. We don't want to necessarily be that person where everything's going great, everything's going grand, everything's amazing. We want to be honest and truthful. On the same side, we don't want to be one of those drama kings or queens that are completely enraptured in the chaos and the turmoil, you know, the turmoil of life. We want to be the person who we are. So how are you doing? And question, really, the big question is it matching up with who you truly are? All right. How are you? Who you are. Now, the third one is, where are you? Now, I know this sounds kind of strange. You may be asking yourself, JT, what is where I am currently? What does that have to do with my attraction marketing funnel? What does that have to do with anything with communicating to people about business? Listen, this is one of the most important aspects that you can have when it comes to your leadership as a business owner. Where you are physically, where you are psychologically, where you are emotionally, if you want to share that, but more importantly, kind of where you are on your journey. Here's the point. A lot of times when people are brand new in business, they're first starting off, especially when it comes to attraction marketing, or it comes to any kind of internet marketing, anything where they're doing it online, so they're not having that physical interaction with somebody, they get this sense like, well, how am I going to lead somebody if I'm barely starting out myself? Or how am I going to lead somebody if I don't have results? If you've ever had that question, give me a 3 in the chat box. Have you ever been wondering yourself, yeah, where I'm at right now in business isn't exactly stellar, isn't exactly exciting or inspiring, so why would anybody follow me? If you've ever had that question in the back of your mind, or maybe you've even verbalized it out loud, give me a 3 in the chat box. And if you don't feel like sharing that because the truth is too painful, I completely understand. I want to let you know this, though. Hey, there are a lot of 3s coming in. I appreciate the honesty. I personally have felt that myself. There are times where I'm like, who the hell would listen to me? When I first got out of the Navy in 2008, I was thinking to myself, you know, we've had a little bit of success in business, but nothing anybody would really, you know, care about. And then I had this idea. It was like, you know, nobody's going to listen to a Navy pilot. I mean, what does anybody care about flying airplanes, and how does that relate to business? Until I had a good friend of mine sit me down and go, dude, do you know how much crossover there is between your previous career into being an entrepreneur? And he kind of outlined all the different areas where those two match up. And I found, man, that's pretty cool. That's very exciting. And that's when I started really leaning on and doubling down on who I was, how I had been up to that point, and where I was coming from. Now, see here, the where are you is a very important question, because it gives people perspective. If you're a nurse, or if, like Lindsay and her husband own a trucking company, I mean, that's pretty exciting, pretty interesting, pretty unique, right? Not everybody comes from that kind of place. So where are you is something that, if you can get clear on that question, a lot of people are going to go, wow, they're very interesting. This is unique. This is the kind of person that I'd really like to get to know better. And when they want to get to know you better, that means they're more attracted to you. They're going to listen to your message. They're going to buy from you. But the key to it is you got to be willing to share, all right? And that's really the overarching theme for today's session here on the Daily Dose, is to get clear on, hey, what am I willing to share? You want to share who you are. You want to share how you're doing. And if it's not something you want to outwardly talk about, you at least want to be clear on how you're doing. And ask yourself, is that lining up with who I really want to be? Is that really lining up with the life I want to live? And if not, now we got to switch it. But then we also got to get clear on the where. Where are we relative to our dreams? Where are we relative to everybody else? Where are we in life? Where are we coming from? Where is our perspective so that people can say, yeah, that's a person that I would love to do business with, that I want to get to know, want to get to like, want to get to trust. That's how we build that trust with people, is by being completely clear with them and showing them where we're coming from. The other thing I'll show you real quick is, think of it like this. If you've ever used a GPS, I talk about this a lot in the fast track workshops, and perhaps if you guys have ever tuned in for the daily dose when we do them on Fridays, I talk about, you know, how you can set goals and use your internal GPS to get where you want to go. If you think about a GPS, I mean, I got one right here on my watch. You probably have one on your phone, maybe even have one in your car. We always had one in the airplane that we flew. We had a GPS. It took about 15 minutes to initialize, which means it took 15 minutes to figure out where it was. And this was key and essential, because you think of a GPS as something that's going to point you in the direction you want to go or tell you how to get where you want to be, right? So you got to have that one point here, but then you also have to have the point of where you're starting from. So you got your target, which is key and essential. You got to know what you want from life, but then you also got to know where you're starting relative to it. Because if you say, hey man, I want to be a millionaire by the end of the year, and you get real specific with that and you go through the whole SMART goal process like we've talked about 1,000 times here, if you get really clear on what it is you want, but you don't know where you're starting from relative to that, you might say you want to be a millionaire. The question is, where are you psychologically with the idea of becoming a millionaire? Where are you relative to the logistics behind it? Your ad copy, is your funnel set up? Are you actively doing the work? Do you have the strategy in place? Do you have the attack mode going on to get yourself to that $1 million level, or the 6-figure level, or the first sale level? The question you always want to be asking yourself is, where am I relative to where I want to be? And when you share these kinds of things in your marketing, in your messaging, in your blog posts, in your articles, people get to know you and they get a sense of who you truly are. And that's what they're going to fall in love with. Now, the final question, the final of the 4 questions that fill in this blank, is what? What are you? And I want you to pay close attention to this. And I left this for the end specifically because it is so important. What you are is not who you are. A lot of times we get wrapped up in labels. People want to call themselves the CEO of their company, and that's awesome. If you want to be known as the CEO, that's perfectly fine. They want to be known as the president. They want to be known as the chief marketing officer. They want to be known as this or that. They want to be known as the PhD or the MBA. They want to be known as the published author. They want to be known as the coach, the mentor, the advocate, the whatever it is. The key thing here is, it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter whether you're a doctor or an attorney or a truck driver. It doesn't matter whether you are a school teacher. It doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman, a husband, a wife, a spouse, divorced, bankrupt, bouncing back. It doesn't matter what. It matters how you carry yourself. All right? If you want to be seen as the CEO of your company, then you have to show up and behave like the CEO of the company. You got to think like the CEO of a company. You got to have the trust in yourself. You got to be willing to deploy your assets like the CEO of a company. You got to be willing to take the risks like the CEO of a company. If you want to be seen as, if part of your what is to be a leader, hey, I'm a leader. I'm the CEO. I'm the this, I'm the that. The question I would ask you is, are you living in accordance, in congruence with the what? The most important piece to this, though, is to remember that any title, any position, okay, I'm not talking about like leader, I'm talking about like CEO, president. Even when I was in the Navy, I had a rank. I was a lieutenant, and I was getting ready to make lieutenant commander in the United States Navy. That is not who I am. That's what I am. That's what I do. It's a verb. Does that make sense? It's what you do on a daily basis. It's not who you are at your core. So important to remember this, that if right now, if you're a 6-figure earner, that's not who you are. That's what you have achieved. If you are a 0-figure earner, that is not who you are. That's just where you are right now. Because if any of those things ever change, if you go from being a 0 earner to a 6 or a 7 or an 8-figure earner, you got to remember that's not who you are at your core. It's what you've achieved. And if you are that 6, 7, or 8-figure earner and all of a sudden it stops, it goes away, you've lost that success, you've lost those accolades and those achievements, doesn't mean that's who you are. You're not a loser. You're not somebody who missed out. You are a person, a human being that achieves something and are currently going through a challenging time. Or you are a person who started off with nothing and are currently enjoying some success because you pushed through and persevered. That is a very exciting thing to be. The what is not the who. That's what I want you to be clear on. So remember, if you want to be a 6, 7, 8-figure earner, if that's the what, if you want to be the CEO or the president of your company, that's a what, then you have to do the actions. You have to think, behave, and carry on as if you are that person. You have to have that internal identification as to who you are so that you can behave in that way. But remember this, your achievements are not who you are. All right. That's not what you weren't born to be a 6-figure earner. If you're a 6-figure earner, a 7-figure earner, that's awesome. We applaud you. We want to learn from you. But remember, that's not who you are. Who you are is an amazing human being. You could be that leader. You could be that mom, that dad, that spouse, that friend, that leader, that person that's here to help and lift other people up. That's more of who you are. And that's the thing you want to lead with. So remember this, in attraction marketing, these are the 4 questions that you have to be willing to answer. I want you to start working on getting very clear on who you are, how are you, where are you, and what are you, and realize that all of those things go into your messaging. They help define how you march each and every single day on your business and your mission, and they're going to help you get the results you're after today and every single day. All right, my friends, that just about does it for today. I will be back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for tomorrow's episode of the Daily Dose of Awesome. Looking forward to meeting up with you. If you haven't yet, get yourself over to elitemarketingpro.com and access our free 10-day bootcamp where we'll teach you how to grow and expand your business online. By the way, if you got something out of this message, if this landed for you, and I saw some people already did this, make sure you're sharing this video. Think of it this way. This is free advertising. This is free content for you. Put it out there. This is something you didn't have to create. So make sure you share this and share it often. Share it with as many people as you want to share with. Make sure that you and they have subscribed to our channel here on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Elite Marketing Pro. And remember, no matter what course you fly in life, fly high, fly fast, and fly far. We'll see you very soon.